It's another lovely day and is Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. My name is Michael Gobadia. It's been said that as much as we wait for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu final giving the nod after the confirmation from the Senate, many Nigerians are expecting a new change. And that change is all about our electoral process. Now, with the coming of the new INEC chairman, like I said, waiting for confirmation from the Nigerian Senate, Nigerians are already setting the agenda of what he needs to do to ensure that it brings about credibility and, again, ensure that the electoral process is truly being reformed. But what would your view be as much as you really set this agenda for the incoming INEC chairman? Well, while you ponder around that, I want to just quickly welcome you to another great time on Atlantic TV. Like I said earlier, is Viewpoint, and my name still remains Michael Gobadia. While you do know on Viewpoint, we tend to deal with many major issues. We always love to start with the papers, then straight to dialogue, as much as we also enjoy a wrap-up of what the news has for us, and most certainly trend it off at the end of the day. But anyway, you would also understand that on Viewpoint, we enjoy making your morning truly enjoyable. It's raining at the moment in Delta State and some other parts of the country, but in every way, we'll try to see how we can make you really enjoy your lovely morning as we wish you a nice day. But what we'll do now is go on a break, and when we come back, the papers will take center stage right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, yes, like I said, the papers is taking center stage now on the show. And for review today, we have 5 papers. We have the Vanguard, the Punch, the Nation, These Day, and Guardian. We'll be wrapping this up today on the show. Like I said, let's see if we quickly start with the Vanguard and see what the Vanguard has as a major one on its front page. And on the Vanguard this morning, the leading story is Do or Die Clash, 3 teams, 1 chance. Well, anyway, it's not one chance, boss. But we're talking about the FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifying Group C is where we are, and indeed is quite dicey. Looking at South Africa, Benin, and Nigeria, all trying to see if they'll pick the only nod from that very group. But anyway, just like a rider to that, Nigeria fate on really a knife edge. But anyway, I'll just implore you to get more of that story. And not just only getting the story, but also help in prayers to see whether we'll definitely pick that very slot. But I would implore you, like I said, to continue that very story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. But let's see if we take some other leading stories, especially at the topmost side of the Vanguard. NNPCL orders high petrol price to 922 naira in Lagos and 955 naira in Abuja. And I'll just tell you to take more of that story on page 5, or rather, sorry, 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's quickly see if we take some other major stories just beneath the picture of the day. And yes, federal government directs vice chancellors to submit attendees compliance report as ASU strike begins. And a rider to that says you cannot intimidate ASU with no work, no pay. Excuse me, NLC tells our federal government. And I'll just tell you to read that story up on page 8 of the Vanguard. The 3rd Vanguard Mental Health Summit to mark crisis of addiction and suicide. It's, well, it's a major one on page 5, but also a major one on page 26. Insecurity will not end with guns. Amechi warns. Tinubu Christian Association of Nigeria mourn as Reverend Umankpai passes on at 80. Well, the news only broke out yesterday, but we learned he died on the 6th of this month. Our heart goes out to the family and the Christian community, but I'll just implore you to get that story on page 5. But the picture of the day is that of our Nigerian players, and you can see Osimhen We just wish it would be like this at the end of today, with them really jubilating and the Nigerians also on the path of happiness, knowing that we'll be qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in almost 2 or 3 outings, and we really would appreciate all of that. But anyway, that's the much you can take from the Vanguard. Let's quickly run to The Nation, which will be the next paper for us to quickly look at today as we extray on the papers. And on The Nation this morning, the leading story reads, Umba open another gale of governor's defection to the APC. Right as to that says Shatima Yewada, Akpabio Abbas to receive governors. PDP would not despair, says Makinde. And well, it looks as if the gale of defection is still very fresh. And the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, seems to be losing more governors to the main ruling party, the All Progressives Congress. But I'll tell you to get more of that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading stories, especially at the topmost side of the Nation this morning. Qatar backs First Lady's plan for out-of-school children. And that sharing news you can get on page 4 of the Nation. Tinubu reform courageous. Ex-SGF, that's Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Oba Olufalayi, declares. And that story is also making the round on page 3. But what's on page 2 before that very story? IMF seek autonomous central banks in stronger global system. And on page 4, President pays tribute as Reverend Magpie dies at the age of 80. And let's see if we take some other leading stories, also just beneath the picture of the day on the Nation newspaper. And yeah, we still have a whole lot. Federal government directs vice chancellors to enforce no work, no pay rule as campuses comply. Exam disrupted. CONUA, medical, dental, academics, we are not part of it. But I'll tell you to get more of that story on page 3. FCCPC to enforce CBN rule for banks to refund failed ATM transactions in 48 hours. And I'll just tell you to get more of that story on page 4. But what seems to be the picture of the day is more of an investment summit. And you can see major bankers right there giving their own idea of what needs to be done. But that's making the round on the front page of the Nation. Well, that's the much you can take from the Nation. Let's quickly run to This Day newspaper and see what This Day has as a major one. Well, quite different from other leading stories on the front pages of the dailies. On This Day, religious leaders reject U.S. claim of genocide against Nigerian Christians. And major writers to that, United States officials and Nigerians said the initial findings show both faiths impacted. Christian Association of Nigeria warns against designating Nigerian country of special concern and says it will lead to suffering and leeway for terrorists to operate. And JNI, Murik, others insist killers should be treated as criminals. And I really would agree to their belief. But I'll just plead with you to get more of that story because we can't just go more around it on page 5 of This Day newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading stories at the top. And see what we'll see have a lot. Ruwani, Nigeria's economic recovery tangible, rooted in fiscal consolidation and sectorial resilience. And writers to that, we subject NBC data to both empirical and Todal test. Investors, analysts view data as mostly genuine. And if you want to get more of that genuine talk, I'll just implore you to go to page 5 of This Day newspaper. President say allay fears over Edu's health, says it's getting better. Well, our wish for him is to get better. But I'll tell you to get better gist on that on page 5 of This Day newspaper. And let's see if we take another. This seems to be also a major concern and also trending since the news broke out just day before yesterday. 2027, National Assembly proposes November 2026 for presidential governorship election. Targets end to post-swearing-in litigations. And I'll just tell you to get that story on page 5. And we might really be looking at these dialogue maybe within the week. It seems to be a major headline. But the major picture of the day is now our Mama Bidiso, we no get another one. Well, I know Qatar will be singing that. Nigerians there will be singing that. And you can see Oluremi Tinubu in Qatar. She paid a visit there. And it looks as if she's already reaping the gains with the Qatari government planning to do more for out-of-school children in Nigeria. But well, that's the much we can take from this day newspaper. Let's quickly run to the Punch, see if he has his usual puncher, as we try to wrap up things today on the dailies. And well, anyway, on the Punch this morning, 2027, opposition splits over National Assembly poll shift plan. Remember, I told you this seems to be a major one. National Assembly bill seeks to move presidential governorship poll to November of 2026. PDP, NNPP alleged tenure extension plot as ADC Labour Party differs. But there's no difference about the news. I'll just implore you to get more of it on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading stories at the top, if there are any. Well, yeah, we seem to have. Makinde warns Wike camp against stopping PDP confection. And I'll tell you not to stop with just the headline, but to continue that very story on page 6 of the Punch newspaper. ASU strike grounds varsities as federal government clamps down is also a screamer on page 2 of the Punch. Let's see if we take some stories, the side mass of the Punch. A retired AIG leads probe into killings by Oshun Moteko is a major one on page 19. But you see the story before page 19, which is on page 18. Slain husband family slams Tinubu pardon for Miriam Sanda. And you know she was pardoned recently among those whose life sentences were commuted and others that were released by President Tinubu's clemency. But anyway, that's the story you can get on page 18. I was also on page 18. Bruno maintains lead as 7.4 million complete online voters registration. And let's quickly get some others. Lagos rearraigns kidnap kingpin Evans over 2 cops murder is a major one on page 4. Fubara swears in SSG cautions against power abuse is also a screamer on page 18. But the picture of the day, just like it made round on the nation, is that of the investment summit by major bankers right here in Nigeria. Well, that's the much we can take from the Punch. Let's quickly go to the Guardian as we try to wrap things up today on the People Review. A lovely Tuesday edition it is. And on the Guardian this morning, we seem to have a whole lot that's a screamer there. But the major screamer there is 72.64% of Nigerian petrol imported amid a rivalry from new refineries. Wow. I'll tell you to get that story on page 6. But let's see if we take some other major stories. Yes, if we can find. Yeah, we do. National Assembly proposes November 2026 for next general elections. And you can get more of that story on page 3. Dangote warns against using monopoly claims to discourage local investment. And while I share his views, and you can just read up that story on page 4 of The Guardian. Defections. Makinde insists Nigerians hold ultimate verdict. And I will agree with him, and I'll tell you to take more of that story on page 3. Labour wades into federal government also rift. Our strike grants varsities nationwide. And I'll just tell you to get more of that story on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. Yes, federal government multi-billion naira FCT homes project excites judiciary. And you can know why they're excited if you read that story up on page 29. But the picture of the day, like I stated earlier, major bankers held in more of invest in our shared future. And that transpired yesterday. And indeed, the Nigerian Stock Exchange will be excited to see if more investments will definitely come their way. But anyway, that's the much we can take on The Guardian. And and funny enough, on the dailies this morning, and I will always implore you, if you find any truly enjoyable or catches your interest, it'd be better if you just go ahead and read up and get abreast with all that seems to be. And you'll be really giving yourself the needed input to know what seems to be happening. But some major screamers seems to be on the front pages, which I'll implore you to read up, like the issue of the federal government giving that new directive to the varsities, especially vice chancellors, telling them that those lecturers that failed to report within these 2 weeks of the warning strike by ASU should not get their pay. But the problem is, will this not further bring more rift between the federal government and the academic union? And but we are really excited that the Nigerian Labour Congress is also trying to see how they can come on board and see how they can really diffuse the tension that seemed to be generated on account of the warning strike that was issued or called upon by ASU just yesterday. But another major input I'll really implore you to also read about is the latest move by the National Assembly to in every way bring forward the elections that was scheduled for 2027, bringing it now to November of 2026. And while it's already causing a whole lot of ripples, especially from the opposition, we do know the People's Democratic Party and the New Nigerian People's Party seem not to agree and feel it's more like an elongation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reign. And well, anyway, I'll implore you to read up that story as much as you get more details into it. But everything still lies on the new INEC chairman to see if the elections, irrespective of when it's being held, will be credible. And remember, we'll be taking a critical look at these on Dialogue as we extray on the new INEC designate. And we're talking about no other person but Professor Jasha Ameputan. And we'll be looking at that later on Dialogue as we stray on to see what Nigerians truly would be expecting from him. But I know you expect to also get a major, and that seems to be what on the front page of The Guardian, looking at the number of imported fuel to Nigeria. Many felt with the coming of Dangote refinery, we might really have no reason to import. But it looks as if that's not the case. About some 2.26% of our imported, of our petrol in the country seems to be imported, especially come from new challenge, from new refineries. But the question still remains, how really viable is our own local, or rather government-owned refineries, and how can they come on stream to also add value to the lives of Nigerians? Another, still talking about the petrol, and one that many Nigerians are a bit concerned again, is the recent increase in the pump price of petrol by the Nigerian, by NNPCL. We learned yesterday those selling in Lagos will be about 922 naira, and those in Abuja will be 955 naira per litre. Will this in every way not impact negatively to the reducing inflation that seems to be the trend in the last 2 months? And will the NNPCL not have a rethink rather than go ahead with that total increase? Well, all of that is what I implore you to grab a copy and read extensively to get all of that needed information. But I really need to inform you now, we need to go on that break and see if we pay our bills. And when we come back, it'll be time for Dialogue right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor Edi.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love, it is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's appointment of Professor Joshua Amopitan as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission has sparked sharp divisions within the opposition, reopening debates about the credibility of the Nigerian electoral process and the long delay push for electoral reforms. The appointment endorsed by the National Council of State last week Thursday marks the beginning of a new chapter for INEC, following the exit of Professor Mahmood Yakubu, whose decade-long tenure was dogged in controversy and waning public trust. As Mr. President prepares to forward his name to the Senate for confirmation, opposition leaders are split over whether the move represents continuity or change in Nigerian troubled electoral landscape. While some ambit or really feel that the President Tinubu acted within the ambit of the law, others fear that the appointment could reinforce perception of political interference ahead of the 2027 general elections. But whichever side of the divide you seem to support, it is only imperative that the new INEC chairman, if confirmed by the Senate, is seen to be apolitical and a reformist to help guide and reshape our electoral process. Hence, a need for us to look about it on this lovely and interesting edition of Dialogue Today. And that is, we're looking at the new INEC chairman and Nigerians' expectation, knowing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has already sent his name to the Senate for confirmation. And when he's finally been confirmed by the Senate, well, definitely he will step in as the next INEC chairman. But anyway, to help us chair the discussion, well, he's not an INEC chairman though, never has been. But anyway, to help us chair the discussion and look at this very topic and give it more of a Nigerian's view of what they feel, is no other person but, I like calling him Orogun, but he will say I should call him Chief. Chief Olori Magege. You do know he's a public analyst and also an elder statesman of high repute that indeed would wish nothing but the best for Nigeria electoral process. Good morning and welcome to this discussion.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Mike.
Well, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was explaining the choice of Professor Amopitan to the Council of State, I'm talking about the Kogi-born professor of law. Yeah. He said a lot. He said a lot while really introducing or talking about choosing him when he had the Council of State meeting last Thursday. And I'm a bit really interested in what he said about the professor. He said he was a political figure of impeccable integrity and told them his choice was based on record of service and character. And that's what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said. Now, I am now being forced to ask, because if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu feels is based on his service, which many Nigerians know little of, and his character, which many Nigerians seem to know little of, I want to ask, is that enough for his choice? Looking at what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, and in all, we are really concerned about the electoral reforms. That's what many Nigerians are yearning for. So in all, what's your view on the choice of Professor Joshua Amikputan?
Well, I know very, very little, if nothing, about him.
Okay.
So when the president said service, integrity, and all that, he has better information than any of us.
Okay.
But having said that, there are 3 parties involved
Okay.
in the activities of the chairman nominee. 1, the country as a whole being one party. What is the interest of Nigeria and the citizenry in this new man, Professor Amikputan, to deliver a credible and fair election, seen to be credible and fair. Adjudged to be credible and fair. That's number 1. That's national interest. Then we look at President Tinubu. He has his national interest. He has the national interest, of course, as being
why he chose him. He's
being the sovereign.
Yes.
Being the sovereign. But he also has his personal interest. He wants a free and fair election that he wins.
That he will be re-elected.
That he will be re-elected. There's a conflict there.
Okay.
The conflict is becoming very clear. Then what of Professor Amikputan himself? What is his interest? Personal interest. Vis-a-vis the national interest. Vis-a-vis Tinubu's interest. We've got to look at it very, very closely. Is he going to fail the man who appointed him? Very unlikely.
But his appointment is for Nigerians.
That is the issue.
Not for a man.
That is the issue.
Okay.
You see, Professor Tinubu, I said Professor Tinubu.
Well, he's becoming a professor of economics. Well, go ahead.
President Tinubu is a human being like me and you. He is interested in re-election. Okay. So he's not going to appoint somebody who is going to knock him out. So behind the mind of Professor Amikputan is, how am I going to pay this man? How am I going to reward him? Should I put the national interest above his personal interest, which should be also my personal interest? These are the factors, the intrigues involved. Hence, I want to believe Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the United States, who said, "You don't know anybody until you give him power." You don't know anybody until you give him power. The way you will behave if you become governor of Delta State may be at variance at my perception of you now, as we're sitting down here. So power is worse than a drug. And you get to answer. So what Professor Amikputan will do, what he will be, can only be determined in the future as he does the job. But the important thing is that do we have checkmates in form of electoral laws,
that he's
supervision,
on the right path.
yes, that he keeps the path. And will he have the independence to do the job the way the national interest wants it to be, or the way he wants it to be? It's only time that will tell.
Okay, well, anyway, I need to tell you we need to continue with our discussion, looking at what you've just said now. And it's just like we're talking as if we really do not know the man, Professor Amikputan. And it will only be right if we also give a quick rundown of who Professor Amikputan is, so at least we'll know how to start to judge him, knowing that most certainly the Senate will definitely give a confirmation, and he's most certainly likely going to be the next INEC chairman. Now, Professor Amikputan, who was called to bar in the year 1988, and he joined the University of Jos as an assistant lecturer in 1989. Now, over time, he took on roles such as the head of the Department of Public Law, Dean of the Faculty of Law in the University of Jos, and Chair of the Committee of Deans and the Rectors. He also has contributed to national debate through publications and research, author of books, chapters, and journal articles in areas like corporate governance and privatization, evidence law, and legal reform. So showing us who really he is, as he's been ushered also as an academician. This will not be the first time we're having an academician on the seat of the #1 electoral umpire. Two previous before him were all professors, still from the academia. So mine is, now, this has also come out to make people ask the question, what's he going to do differently? Because we've had two professors before him, and we've seen the trend. Many will say we are really at a slow pace as it concerns our electoral reforms. We've not really achieved that height that many would wish we have since the return of democracy in 1999. So my question is, we're now having a professor just like we've had two professors, Professor Atere Jiga, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, now Professor Joshua Amepiton. Are we likely going to see anything different? It's a question.
Is professorship
yes,
equivalent to integrity?
That's the question.
That's the question. Are you saying that to be a man of integrity, you must be a professor? Or if you are a professor, you are automatically a man of integrity? That's not it. It is an academic qualification. That is what professorship is, an academic qualification. It does not tell us whether you are a man of integrity, impeccable integrity, or not, whether you are a man of character or not. You see, there is no exam, there is no jam that you have to sit to pass to become the chairman of INEC.
Yeah.
So it's try your luck. It's all try your luck. We have seen people with little or no qualification doing an excellent job in their various chosen careers. We've also seen professors who have gone to jail because of their INEC sub-performance. Yeah. I mean, you see them in Cross River?
Akwa
Ibom.
Yeah.
So let's not bring in the issue of you are a professor, therefore you are a man of integrity.
Okay.
I'm not saying that if you're a professor,
you lack integrity.
I'm not saying so.
Okay.
I'm also saying that integrity is a character thing. It's a character trait, which is out there in the individual as he goes through life.
Okay.
So no, not issue of professorship. Not issue of professorship.
So that's not a criteria to say, well, we've gotten the right person as it concerns credibility and electoral reforms.
The man who conducted the Abiola election is not a professor.
Yes, Umosu.
Is he a professor?
No, of course not.
It's not. And he conducted an election that is adjudged
to be one of the best, freest and fair
in the history of Nigeria. So no, not professorship.
Okay, now, just like you've said, it needs not to be a professor. But irrespective of that, Nigerians are also already at the stage of, this is where we feel we should go. Just yesterday, we had a gathering of critical stakeholders in Abuja, paving the way for what our electoral reforms would be. And they had a lot to talk about, but we'll not go there because we're right here talking about who the new INEC designate is and what we really would love from him. But as much as what we love for him, we'd rather look at some of the challenges he's most likely to face, knowing that he has inherited a whole lot of issues from his former. Now, one of the major issues that we feel he has inherited is logistic and funding. Logistic has always been a major challenge as it concerns the electoral body. We also do know funding has been a major one. Voters' trust and even election security all are still the major challenges facing the would-be INEC chairman, just like he faced his predecessor. And like you said, it's only time that will tell whether he will be able to handle this. So I would really love to have your advice as it concerns you dishing out and what Nigerians feel they need to also get from him. Now, like I said, I want us to start with the issue of logistic.
Yeah.
Logistic in the area of moving sensitive and non-sensitive materials, vehicle shortage, and coordination issues among field officials that have really represented or really helped to stretch our elections beyond where it should be. So what do you feel he needs to do as it concerns logistic? An advice to him.
Logistics. We can't look at logistics as a single item alone. We must look at it holistically.
Okay.
In India, for instance, election goes over a period of almost a year.
Yes.
Staggered.
Yes.
And in Nigeria here, we've seen the outcome of elections during the off year.
Off cycle.
Or out cycle.
Off cycle. Election.
Maybe we'll look at that. If we're having issues of logistics, because at some point we use donkeys, we use horses, we use leg, we use bicycle, we use boat, we use knock me and knock you boat. Because of the difficult terrains that we have in Nigeria. And this has to do with manpower.
That's why I said non-sensitive and sensitive
yes,
material, officials also.
Because when you talk of logistics, you are talking of human beings moving materials from one place to another. So behind all this are human beings. And there is shortage of capable human beings, because that's where election rigging begins. You bring in these hundreds of thousands of ad hoc workers, staff who have not been trained to imbibe the culture of INEC. Because every business has its own culture. So these guys come in as temporary staff. They want to make as much money as they can make, and then disappear. INEC does not know them. They don't know INEC. They don't know INEC anything. Maybe if we have a staggered election, we can move experienced hands who are permanent staff of INEC from one zone to the other. Maybe we need to do elections zone by zone. The 6 geographic zones. We do it this week. Next week we do another one like that.
With experienced hands.
With experienced hands. That could solve a problem of logistics, both in terms of equipment spread. If you have 20 cars and you are using 20 cars or 20 vehicles here in the south today, next week you move the same 20 cars to another zone, and like that. The issue of logistic problems become a bit reduced. That's number one. It also affects funding. Because when you are chartering vehicles all over the country at the same day, at the same time, there are so many vehicles the country has. So there is bound to be shortage. You are going to move from one place to another. That will impact cost. So if it's staggered, that would be another issue of funding again will be maximized.
Okay.
Then security. You'll find that we have a finite number of policemen in the Nigerian police. So this will be spread thin.
Quite inadequate.
Yes, quite inadequate. So if again you staggered it, you can now say, okay, all the policemen, available policemen in zone 1 to 5, move to zone 6 where we are going to have election. Then there's a better coverage. So I think to ease the performance of Professor Mokuton, let us look at other method of election, of voting, of capturing election vote, of capturing ballot paper on the election day. If we stagger it, maybe we'll make his job easier. It's something we could look at very critically.
Okay, now, yeah, you just talked about what you feel we need to do as it concerns logistics, which I've always said is a major challenge. But another major challenge will be the issue of funding and resources, which has also in every way marred our elections before now. We had even a situation where that should be between the 2015 and 2015 elections, just immediately after. We had issues of off-cycle elections that fund almost stopped because of the non-release of funds earlier by the National Assembly. Now, fund and resources also was a major critical one for the outgoing Professor Mahmood Yakubu's reign. Now, I'm also a bit concerned. We keep budgeting huge sums that many feel has not really reflected on our elections. But what do you feel this new INEC chairman needs to do as the issue of getting the funds at the required time and also satisfying our feeling that the money we are using for elections, we are seeing genuine results on account of it, because it's a major problem.
There is no agency of government that has all the funds it requires. Because Nigeria is as a country, does not have enough money to meet its daily
requirements,
daily operations. So there must be issue of choices and prioritization. INEC is a priority place for us. Of course, a priority agency for us. And funding and timely release of funding, they are two different things. If you bring money when it's too late, you might as well be throwing away that money. But fortunately, INEC chairman is not the only person in INEC.
Yes.
We've got staff that are experienced. Agbamuchi has been there for quite some time.
Yeah. And it was almost tipped to be the next chairman.
Yes, and other people that are there. We shouldn't look at INEC as the chairman only. It's an institution that has been on there, that has been there for ages. It has learned. It has manpower capacity, logistic capacity. Its experience in managing its limited resources. What we'll appeal is, let the National Assembly look critically at the budget of INEC on timely basis, approve what it can approve, and then the Minister of Finance should release funds to it as at when it's needed. That's all we can say. Otherwise, here, me and you, so much is out of our
hands.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps one of the most pressing challenge for the incoming INEC chairman will be the issue of rebuilding citizens' confidence in the electoral umpire. Because you will agree with me that the 2023 general elections brought a whole lot of things out and made Nigerians really examine, critically look at INEC when it comes to the issue of credibility. Issues like technical glitches, results, delay in transmission of results, had often in every way marred the reign of the former INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu.
Mr. Glitch.
Well, anyway, I didn't say Mr. Glitch, he said Mr. Glitch. Now, the question now is, what does he need to do to bring back that renewed trust and hope Nigerians have on the electoral process? You agree with me that the trust and hope Nigerians had before the 2023 general elections were very, very high. Many Nigerians felt indeed INEC had gotten it right, only for us to end up with Mr. Glitch, to end up with the glitches that orchestrated that very general election. So, how can he really rebuild the trust and believe that Nigerians would have in the electoral process itself? Your own assessment.
You see, somebody came in as chairman of INEC, introduced electronics into our election process, right?
Yes.
Not once did Mahmoud get the electronic transmission right. Not once. He never did. Not once. And we spent a lot of money on that experiment. We have Beavers, we have IRF, and IRED, and IMAD, whatever.
Modal.
On. Came to nothing. It is not what you use that matters. It is how you use it that matters. You are just improving when you are using electronics to count votes. You are just improving on raise your hand and count. That's all you are doing. You are making it easier. But when you, in the process of making it easier, you complicate it in order to get it rigged. That is the problem. You know, what is in counting of ballot papers? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? You count, you write it down. Everybody is there. And you transmit. It can even be as easy as picking the phone and the person over calling the person. This is what you've got in here. If we are men and women of integrity, it's as simple as that. All these things that we are talking here, it has to do with our lack of honesty, our lack of integrity. If not, what is so easy? What can be easier than raise your hand and let's count? What can anything be easier than that? Whether you do it electronically, whether you do it by hand, whether you do it by ballot paper, they boil down the same thing. Let's count those who voted for you. Let's count those who voted against you. And let's see who has the majority vote. If that comes to the bottom line, that is the bottom line. How well will INEC do this very simple act? That's the issue. When you go to the units, because the unit is the point of beginning, and people vote, and you count the vote, and the vote is correct. The polling agents are there to ensure that the vote that comes to their party is properly recorded. It's when it is being transmitted up that all this mago comes in, which can be checked. We know how desperate politicians are to win. Remember when we started this discussion, I said how much of President Tinubu's personal interest will align with the national interest. Because that is the bottom line. If Mr. President says he must return at all costs, then no matter what Amokutan does, the integrity will continue, the integrity of INEC will continue to be in jeopardy. That's the bottom line. It all depends on how desperate Mr. President is, how desperate APC is, how desperate other contestants are to win election. And it goes down to the cost of electioneering. Because it's difficult to tell somebody after putting 20, 40 billion
into an election.
And you say he lost. And he didn't see how he lost. He didn't see it. That is the issue of credibility. When you lose and you know you lose, you go home and you cry in the rain. Simple. But when you know that you've won and somebody rigged you out,
that's where the issue is.
That's where the issue is.
So all you are saying that is, irrespective of whether we go through electronic advancements or not, his integrity will count on account of what the result will finally be.
Yes. What the result is finally is. And it shouldn't be a black box. It's a process.
Now, if you feel it's a process, this is where the question lies for Nigerians. How open should this new INEC chairman be to the whole process? How open should it be? Because you agree with me that some things in Nigeria seems always to be opaque. Opaque in the sense that we rarely understand the mindset, the runnings, the attitude, what seems to play out in most of our government agencies. INEC, when it comes to openness, is what Nigerians are truly seeking for. So how really should the process be open? Because you would agree with me that if the process is open, he will never be arm twist. It will be like blue and white. Even if the ruling party wants in every way to circumvent the process, he will be open to say, well, this is the book. So how open should he be, and how important is this issue of being credible, being open, being genuine, being outcoming with what is happening, that will give us that trust that, yes, this man is indeed the man for the job?
You see, Mike, there is no part of electioneering, no part of voting that is secret. Every aspect of election is open. It's done in the open. In the primary school, in the town halls. None is done in anybody's room, in anybody's house. So I ensure that nothing goes to anybody's house, anybody's private quarter, anybody's hotel. Do it where the law says it should be done. Casting of ballot papers should be done in the unit posts, in the polling units, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let it do it there. That's open. Everybody is there to see.
Okay.
When it's counted there, do it and let everybody see it. When the result is being written out, do it, let everybody see it. Give the sheets, the result sheets, to the agents. It's open. That is the beginning of collation, isn't it? Then you move to a central point,
yes,
where all these sheets are gathered, collated. Again, it's open. It's in the town halls, in the primary school or secondary school, open place. There's no secret place here.
But is that not how our elections have been, and yet we keep crying that it has not been really transparent and credible?
You see, in between, in the transmission process, that's where results are changed. Where 411 is now changed to 114. So Professor Amokuto must ensure that that is eliminated. Where 114 becomes 411, you've added almost 300 votes. And when you add 300 votes per unit across the board, then somebody who didn't contest election wins. That is the point. Every aspect of election is open. It's when we turn our back and watch the election officers manipulating the figures that the problem comes in. So that's where BVAS comes in. Are you getting me? Then BVAS goes into air. The receiving equipment at the other end, we don't know what is programmed.
Well, that's the openness I'm talking about.
We don't know what is programmed. That is the box there. But it can be made open. That's why we have IREV. When figures are being transmitted, they are seen there.
Real time.
But all of a sudden, MTN will go dark, Airtel will go dark, Globe will go dark. Those are the glitches we are talking about. Those are the glitches. And that is the point. And the point of rigging is where we cloak the opponents in darkness. That's the point of rigging. And it is not a rock science to eliminate those areas. Because along the road, there are trails. The original document is the result sheet at the polling unit, which again is interpreted, is put into the BVAS. Yeah. We can check that. You see, I'm an accountant, so I know what is auditing. Yeah. You can follow the audit trail. Yeah. And because Nigeria is so big, the audit trail is muffled up. Hence, I go back into the staggered election. If we conduct election in one zone and we thoroughly satisfy all the openness conditions of that election in that zone, we move to another zone, the chances of muddling up things will be minimized. And it will improve transparency and credibility. If Professor Amokuto wants to be believed, let him open up all these secret corners, all these secret boxes in which people can manipulate. That's the point.
Okay, now, well, in case you're joining us, we're talking about the issue of the new INEC designate or chairman to be, waiting for the Senate confirmation of Professor Amokuto. You do understand that he was only introduced last week, Thursday, during the Council of State meeting by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, insisting that he was chosen on account of service and character. The many Nigerians are still waiting to see, well, if they know him that well. But anyway, all we're trying to do is set the agenda for what he should do. Not just to make us have credible elections, but to also win back the trust. Now, many Nigerians seem to, the trust seems to be waning in recent time on account of some of the happenings of Mr. Glitches, he keeps putting, of the glitches we experienced in the last general elections. But irrespective of that, the agenda setting is still what we have on this lovely, interesting edition of Dialogue on Atlantic TV. Now, another major concern that many Nigerians will also have as an account of the election, this might not be in his hands, is the issue of security. Security is not in his hands at the moment. Security is more on the federal government's hand and state government hand. Now, you agree with me that the turnout of elections has been greatly impacted by what seems to happen right there at our electoral, during the field. Now, we talk about ballot box snatching, we talk about real-life violence being perpetrated right there during our elections. And we've even seen some areas that would not vote on account of insecurity. Especially those in the IDP camps, we rarely even have them vote on account of being displaced. Now, let's look at insecurity and what needs to be done to help end the trend of low turnout on account of fears during our election. What should this government do?
Insecurity is a general thing. We can't look
but let's narrow it down just to the election and the election circle. Let's narrow it down to see how we can also get the voters well secured and our election, because if it's not secured, there's every chance of manipulation.
You see, the contestants in every election provide enough security.
The contestants?
The contestants, the party, the political parties.
How do you mean?
What I mean is this. In election day, every political party brings able-bodied men. Able-bodied men means thug. That's the meaning of it, able-bodied men. 10 per unit. This one brings 10, this one brings 10, that one brings 10. The place is secured. The test, if you bring fight, we fight you. We have men to fight you. The police is just there to separate them. That's all. What security does police provide? They are just there to. They are more like how will I put it? You put
a referee.
Not a referee. You put a sculpture there, and you put a gun in his hand. A fake, and that's what he does. In terms of security, key security, no. No, they don't provide all that much security. It's the political parties, able-bodied men that are there.
So should we have thugs during our electoral, field during the election itself?
You see, you are talking as if Nigeria is United States, as if Nigeria is Britain, as if Nigeria. We must talk vis-a-vis our level of development.
So why not roll in the military?
Roll in the military?
Yes.
Has the military done well with the bandits? In the area of their specialty, in the area of their training, have they done well? How well have they done well with the bandits? How well have they done with Boko Haram? That now want to bring them into election.
No, just to secure the ground.
To secure what? Are people dying, are fighting, are dying there? There are laws. If ballot papers are snatched in any polling unit, cancelled. Simple as that. If there is fight in any polling unit, cancelled. There are laws regulating this thing. The laws are not enforced. That's the bottom line. I will come around and we blame this, we blame that, blame this. How? If there are laws regulating your actions, your activities at the polling unit, and there is punishment meted out for your infringing those conditions, we'll learn. How many people have you seen apart from that professor in Akwa Ibom that was punished?
Yeah.
Jail.
Sent to jail.
Jail. How many politicians can really raise up their hand and say they've not been involved in ballot snatching? How many have gone to jail? If you snatch ballot and you win, everything is forgiven. All the men that help you to snatch your ballot papers, you give them appointment. Okay. You've rewarded intransigency. And that is the problem. The law is not enforced. If the law is enforced, the issue of security will not come. The issue of security will not be there. If the police is there to arrest people who infringe on the laws, there won't be any, we will not be crying over security. We will not.
Okay, well, anyway, well said. And I want us now to, because of time is never a friend, especially when we're having such a lovely discussion. I want us now to come to the opposition. Now,
do we have any?
Well, the dwindling opposition. If that's what you want me to say.
The dying opposition.
Well, I will not call them die. because Makinde said they still have a formidable force. So let me just leave and believe what he said. Now, let's look at the opposition. They're already crying blue foul on account of the appointment of...
they are very good at doing that.
On the account of his appointment. And many he even came to a level that they felt Professor Omopito was a part of the legal team of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the defense of the 2020 general election, which we find funny and which is not true though. Now, but what is true is how should he make them feel a bit relaxed to know that it's not apolitical? What should he do? Because we do understand that that has always been a major problem. Where opposition will always cry, yes, we agree. When it doesn't go their way, they'll feel democracy has been truncated. But when it goes their way, they'll feel this is the beauty of democracy. Yes, we understand all of that. But how would he be seen to be apolitical and not a player to any or seem to be dancer to any part of this group, but remain apolitical and credible in his actions?
I'll take you back to the election of the second tenure of Oshomole in your state, Edo State.
Okay.
As the election was going on, Oshomole was shouting on top of his voice that the election has been rigged, has been compromised. He was shouting all over the places. You know him. And then he won. And he was asked, why all those shouting that you were doing? He said, I was shouting just to let them know that I'm watching. The only way the opposition will be happy with Amokuton is to make Peter Obi his personal assistant, Atiku Abubakar his SSA.
Come on.
But that's the only way. That's the only way. What I'm telling you that it's impossible. It's just impossible. Just by the fact that Tinubu praised him to the highest heaven, it's enough suspicion on the part of opposition. You get what I'm saying? My tribe, the Yoruba, say when you are peeling the roasted yam of a blind person, you whistle so he knows you are not eating his yam. And that's what I'm saying. He should make Peter Obi his personal assistant, Atiku Abubakar, El Rufai, all his SSAs. That's where we'll have peace on the part of opposition. It's not a laughing matter.
Well, anyways, I doubt if that will ever happen. But anyway, what I know will happen is for us to really talk about what our elections will be. And I will not let you go if I don't also bring your notice to this. This might be off our discussion, but something that transpired yesterday. Now, the National Assembly is thinking of bringing forward the elections, the 2027 elections, to November of 2026. And already is getting stiff opposition from critical stakeholders in the electoral process. Now, I'm just a bit curious to get your take on account of that. The National Assembly gave us many reasons why they feel we need to bring it forward and see how we can do all of this so we deal with the issue of litigation, lengthy litigation, before final confirmation in May of 2027. Do you subscribe to this recent push idea of the National Assembly?
Litigation, we've tried litigation, we've tried to create timeline for litigation. In Obasanjo's time, litigation was still going on even when the tenure had ended. Then we streamlined it, that litigation at first court should be so many days or months.
Before it goes up to the Supreme
Yes.
Court.
I think we should adopt that and stick to that.
But should the election be brought forward?
No. Because the political parties they've been working on that day, that February 2027 date. They've been working towards that. So when you take 2, 3, 4 months out of that, you've turned it to a cash program. And there will be suspicion because it will be seen that the ruling party is planning something since it is the ruling party that is majority in the Senate, in the Senate and in the House, in the National Assembly. So they've been working on this as a strategy to railroad the opposition. That's the way it will be interpreted. So let it run its course. If we have reason to move it forward, not this one, future elections, not this 2027 election. It will create too many bad blood. It will create too many suspicion. That's it.
Okay, now, another major talking point I would like to also get your thoughts is the issue of gale of defections. It is now being rumored that the Enugu State Governor himself, Mba, will also be joining the All Progressive Congress. And it's already making the opposition a bit jittery, knowing that their strength seems to be waning by the day, especially as a account of governors defecting to the major ruling party.
You see, look.
Should they lose sleep on account of this? Should Nigerians truly be worried that Nigeria is almost turning into a one-party state?
When you have people like Wike in your party, and you are seeing with your koro eye, to use worry language, that your fortune, your political fortune is dying, is dwindling by the day. You are having COVID-19 political infection.
Yeah.
What will you do?
That's a new one.
Yes.
Well, let me go ahead.
What will you do? You leave the party. PDP has not been able to fix any date for anything.
Okay.
For their National Executive Committee, their National Working Committee, their various committees, has not been able to do anything. And the election is running close. And if you are a governor under that ticket, you don't even know who will sign your paper. The chairman and the secretary, national chairman and national secretary, they are at each other's throat. With Wike referee. So what will you do? Look at SDP. We don't even know what is happening in SDP. Look at ADC. ADC is more of a propaganda thing than anything else. We're not seeing real movement on the ground. So, I really don't. So
you feel the APC is more stable than all of them?
It's more stable. It's more stable. So you go down there and achieve whatever ambition you have. So you live. That's why we left. That's why we left PDP for APC in Delta State. You see this problem, this wicked man is weakening everybody. And you want to invest all your political life there? How? You won't do that. You leave.
But is Wike not part of the All Progressive Congress, or the mining is not the card-carrying member?
Wike is a PDP man. Wike is a PDP man.
But he's working for the APC.
He is working
as a minister.
He is working in the government. The civil servants, are they all APC members?
Of course not.
You get me?
Is that a political way to answer me? Is saying Wike is more of a...
You are asking me a question that you know the answer. Why? How do I answer that? Wike is how will I? Amphibious. Politically amphibious. It's neither here nor there, but it's everywhere. But let me tell you this.
Yeah.
In his own personal interest, let him change his style. Because there is life after this government. There is life after this government. At the end of the day, we're all going to stand up and say, where were you when things are going so bad?
But would you blame him? He seems to also have that feeling of being betrayed in the last election by his party, especially during the primaries. Is that not a reflection of his anger that is now...
They didn't win the election.
But was there not a backdoor play from Tambo and the rest during that primaries? It's a question.
That is the process.
Then you were in the PDP.
Yeah, that was the process of politicking. That's the process of politicking. It's a football match. If I dribble you 4 or 5 times, I score a goal. Do you complain about that? If I'm a master dribbler, If I'm JJ Okocha, do you complain about me being JJ Okocha?
So are you saying politicians are dribblers?
Are you asking me this question? What are they? What are they? What are politicians?
Well, no, man, I just needed it to be a bit slight. We're making it really too serious. But I really need you to go. But before you do so, what final advice would you have for the incoming INEC chairman, Professor Amepiton?
Let him look at all his predecessors and how they are being judged today after they've left. I think very few, if any, will want to have their names given to somebody else's child. You see Gowon being given to children. Yeah. You see Azikwe being given to children. Awolowo being given to children. How many Jega has been given to children? How many children have been named after Jega? How many would be named after Mahmoud Yakub? So you should look at that and then look at Nigeria. Because we will all live and we live for our children to come. What is it that we are living for them? A country fraught with election rigging, a country fraught with forever litigation, a country fraught with basic dishonesty. It doesn't go anywhere. So let him think about that. The bottom line is, let him go into his inner sanctuary that nobody else knows except himself, and decide, is he going to work for posterity or is going to work to please masters? That's what I advise him.
Well, anyway, on that very lovely note and advice given by no other person but Chief Olori Magege, we will come to the end of this lovely edition of Dialogue on Viewpoint. I really need to appreciate you so much for coming and giving us your insight as it concerns, or rather setting the agenda for the incoming INEC chairman. We truly appreciate your time. Every time we call on you, you're always there to really honor our call. We really would say we are really appreciative of that event.
Thank you, Atlantic Television. I wish you all the best.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Well, anyway, it's more like a wrap for us today on Dialogue, but you know it will never be complete if we do not have your reactions, your views and comments, and hence we're telling you to go drop your comments on our different social media platforms. They're already there on your screen. And not just share and like, but also comment on all our lovely topics, especially this. What will be the agenda setting for the incoming INEC chairman? To let it look as if the credibility will be there, and not just only that, but rather service to the nation and make, like our guests have said, his name be put on gold in the future. Well, anyway, all of those comments we'll love to get, and be rest assured that when they come, we'll definitely be reading them out just to acknowledge your presence on our social media platform. But for me, Michael Gobadia, it's quickly a wrap, but remember the news will come around the hour, and well, trend still takes a major one right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Rukotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. From an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms. and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl-child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl-child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have led that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, We compete intellectually. We have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform. We can do it on the national platform. And we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri girl child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to cheer you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
As you know, you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5020 0225 or 0815-176-6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejire. Here are our top stories. Federal government moves to clamp down on cooking gas hoarders amid soaring prices. U.S. genocide debate. Hashim slams federal government's failure on insecurity. Cardoso calls for fiscal monetary unity to sustain reforms. Israel to honor Trump with nation's highest civilian award. EPL returns. Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea face defining four-game stretch. Now to the news in full. The federal government has ordered an immediate clampdown on marketers hoarding or exploiting consumers following the sharp rise in the price of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas. In a statement released on Monday by his spokesperson, Louis Iba, the minister blamed the price hike on two key disruptions: the recent strike by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria at the Dangote refinery and ongoing maintenance work at the Nigeria LNG Train 4 facility. ECBO assured Nigerians that gas supply is gradually stabilizing as operations have resumed at the Dangote refinery, while NLNG is restoring normal output. He said loading had also commenced at the Bonny River terminal operated by Seplat Energy. Measures expected to normalize supply and drive down prices by next week. The minister warned marketers against hoarding and sharp practices, directing the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to intensify monitoring and enforce compliance nationwide. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperikpe Ekpo, issued the directive after prices jumped from about 1,000 naira to nearly 2,000 naira per kilogram in some parts of the country, sparking public outrage. While the government promises relief soon, consumers continue to feel the pinch as cooking gas prices remain high in many parts of the country. The federal government has urged the Academic Staff Union of Universities to suspend its ongoing strike, insisting it has met all the union's demands. ASU's National President, Professor Chris Bewuna, had on Sunday announced the commencement of a total and comprehensive strike across all public universities, citing the government's alleged failure to fulfill its agreements. But the Education Minister countered the claims, revealing that the government has already paid 50 billion naira in earned academic allowances and submitted a formal counter-proposal to the union. He expressed disappointment that ASUU still went ahead with a strike despite ongoing dialogue and what he described as good faith efforts from the Tinubu administration. Dr. Alausa assured students and parents that the federal government remains committed to keeping universities open and will take every step to prevent further disruption to the academic calendar. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa, who made the appeal on TV, said there is no justification for the 2-week warning strike declared by ASUU, adding that the government has addressed every single request made by the union. Meanwhile, ASUU says the warning strike will last for 2 weeks, pending further discussions with the government. Students and parents across the country are now anxiously watching to see if lectures will resume soon. Former presidential candidate and PDP chieftain Dr. Gbenga Hashim has criticized the federal government for what he calls a shamefully political and dangerously unserious response to Nigeria's worsening insecurity crisis. In a statement over the weekend, the former presidential hopeful accused the ruling All Progressives Congress of focusing more on political maneuvering ahead of the 2027 elections than on securing the country. He said, and I quote, "This government treats the blood of innocent Nigerians like a campaign statistic. The APC is more interested in securing PDP governance than securing Nigeria." Hashim described the U.S. genocide debate as a wake-up call, warning that terrorist networks could soon establish parallel governments in northern Nigeria if the situation persists. He added that many politicians have become fixated on the next election cycle while ignoring what he termed the fire already consuming the nation. Hashim said the government's failure to decisively confront terrorists and bandits had triggered international concern, including recent debates in the United States about placing Nigeria on a human rights watch list. Hashim urged national leaders to put politics aside and confront insecurity head-on, warning that continued negligence could undermine the country's unity and stability before 2027. Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has dismissed reports claiming he is in talks with former President Goodluck Jonathan to form a political alliance ahead of the 2027 elections. Tanko, who spoke to newsmen, said the reports are baseless and politically motivated, stressing that even their meeting in Ghana earlier this year was purely a platonic discussion on national development. He added that Obi's focus remains on rebuilding Nigeria through accountability and governance reforms, not political scheming. Recall that calls have recently intensified for former President Goodluck Jonathan to return to the race under the PDP platform, with allies hinting that discussions were at an advanced stage. But Obi's camp insists there is no pact, no plan, and no alliance between the two men ahead of 2027. Obi's media aide, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, clarified that while both leaders share mutual respect and often discuss national issues, there is no agreement or plan to unseat President Bola Tinubu. For now, Peter Obi says his priority remains the people, not politics, shutting down yet another rumor ahead of the 2027 polls. There's growing unease within the People's Democratic Party as Governors Peter Mba of Enugu State and Doye Diri of Bayelsa reportedly prepared to defect to the ruling All Progressives Congress. The two governors, both elected on the PDP platform, are said to have concluded plans to formally join the APC, though the move may be delayed following leadership tussles in the Enugu chapter of the party. In Bayelsa, APC Chairman Chief Dennis Ototo says the party is ready to welcome Governor Diri anytime he decides to defect, adding that the move will strengthen President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda ahead of 2027. However, critics like former Commissioner Furebi Akene have slammed the defections as shameless and politically bankrupt, accusing politicians of jumping ship for self-preservation. Ijaw leader Joseph Ambakaderimo, on the other hand, described the move as a courageous step that could give the South-South a stronger voice in national politics. Meanwhile, in Enugu, the dissolved APC EXCO insists it remains the authentic leadership, calling its dissolution illegal and a violation of the party's constitution. And from Lagos, PDP stalwart Chief Bode George has condemned the planned defections as disgusting, disgraceful, and destabilizing, warning that turning Nigeria into a one-party state would be a great national failure. While the PDP leadership in both states has remained silent, reactions are pouring in from stakeholders. In Bayelsa, some describe Diri's planned move as strategic alignment with the federal government, while others say it's purely self-serving. Similarly, the APC in Enugu is battling internal division after its National Working Committee dissolved the State Executive Council and appointed a caretaker team led by Ben Nwoye. With just days to the expected defection date, political tension is building across both states as party loyalists brace for what could reshape alignments ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Olayemi Cardoso has called for stronger coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities to sustain the country's reform momentum and attract long-term investment. The dialogue, supported by J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs and moderated by Professor Helen Ray, explored Nigeria's reform trajectory in a changing global economy. Cardoso emphasized that communication is itself a policy tool, noting that without clarity and transparency, monetary policy loses credibility. He said reforms such as foreign exchange unification and subsidy rationalization were long overdue and must now be accompanied by sustained coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities. Senior advisor to the governor, Dr. Nkiru Balonwu, also reaffirmed the CBN's commitment to transparency, describing it as not just style but policy. Cardoso added that while the reforms have been painful, public trust is gradually being restored as Nigerians begin to understand the link between stability today and prosperity tomorrow. Speaking at the London Business School's Wheeler Institute for Business and Development, Cardoso said clear communication, credible data, and policy alignment are vital to preserving investor confidence and maintaining macroeconomic stability. The CBN governor maintained that no central bank can stabilize an economy in isolation, stressing that fiscal and monetary hands must shake firmly and move in the same direction. Still on business news, Nigeria's equities market surged last week, with investors pocketing over 2.16 trillion naira in profits, the biggest weekly gain so far this year. Data from the Nigerian Exchange Group show market capitalization jumped from 91.135 trillion naira to 93.296 trillion naira, while the all-share index climbed 2.4% to close at 146,988 points. Analysts say the rally was largely driven by gains in heavyweights like MTN Nigeria, Dangote Cement, Seplat, Lafarge, and Stanbic IBTC. Sectional performance was also upbeat. Industrial goods rose 4.2%, insurance 3.7%, and oil and gas 2.9%, while banking stocks slipped slightly by 0.4%. Despite the positive run, total market activity slowed, with trading volume and value dropping by over 70% and 20%, respectively. Market watchers from Cadros Research and Invest Data Consulting predict continued optimism driven by strong corporate earnings expectations and possible inflation moderation that could influence a rate cut at the next MPC meeting. The bullish run, marking the 5th consecutive week of growth, comes as investors await the third quarter of 2025 earnings results and the September inflation figures expected to shape trading sentiments in the weeks ahead. As investors reposition portfolios ahead of earnings releases and macro data, analysts say any pullbacks could open fresh buying opportunities in a market showing renewed resilience. You're watching our daily news roundup for today right here on Atlantic TV. We'll go for a short break. More news stories on the foreign scene and on sports news when we return.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is White Niger celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. On the foreign scene, Israel's President Isaac Herzog says the country will present its highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Honor, to U.S. President Donald Trump for his role in securing the release of hostages from Gaza and brokering a ceasefire deal. The visit coincides with the first phase of a Trump-brokered peace plan, a 20-point framework that includes a hostage prisoner exchange between Israel and Hamas. The Israeli presidency says the medal recognizes individuals who have made outstanding contributions to Israel or humanity. Former U.S. President Barack Obama received the same honor in 2013. During his brief visit, President Trump is expected to meet families of freed hostages and address Israel's parliament, the Knesset. Herzog, in a statement from Jerusalem, described Trump's efforts as tireless, saying they paved the way for a new era of peace and cooperation in the Middle East. The award will be presented in the coming months when President Trump visits Israel. The Presidential Medal of Honor ceremony is expected to symbolize a renewed alliance between Washington and Jerusalem and marks a milestone in the Middle East peace process. In Dubai, the world's biggest technology and startup exhibition, GTEX Global 2025, has officially kicked off at the Dubai World Trade Center, spotlighting innovations in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and quantum computing. Speakers lined up for the event include OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and other global thought leaders in AI and digital transformation. This year's edition also sees Turkey makes its debut with the joint pavilion Tokon Invest in Turkey, featuring over 50 firms across fintech, cybersecurity, robotics, and AI. The 45th edition of GTEX Global runs through Friday, October 17th, highlighting global collaboration and investment opportunities in the fast-evolving tech space. From Dubai, GTEX Global continues to set the pace for innovation and cross-border partnerships, reinforcing its status as the world's gateway to the future of technology. Over 6,800 companies from 180 countries are participating in the 5-day tech event, including industry giants like Google, Huawei, Microsoft, and IBM. Organizers say more than 40 unicorn startups and 2,000 emerging companies are showcasing next-generation technologies shaping the global digital economy. Away from the foreign scene now to sports news, the international break is over and the Premier League returns this weekend with title contenders Arsenal Liverpool, Manchester City and Chelsea entering a crucial 4-match run that could shape the title race before the next international window. Arsenal will look to extend their lead when they face Crystal Palace, Burnley, Fulham and Sunderland, a favourable run for Mikel Arteta's side. Liverpool, meanwhile, face their toughest stretch yet, hosting Manchester United and Aston Villa before visiting Brentford and Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's men have a manageable schedule on paper, with Everton and Bournemouth at home, Aston Villa away and Liverpool at the Etihad. At Stamford Bridge, Enzo Maresca's young Chelsea team continue to build momentum with fixtures against Nottingham Forest, Sunderland, Wolves and a high-stakes London derby versus Tottenham Hotspur. Analysts say this 4-game block could determine who tops the table heading into December. Just 5 points separates the top 7 teams, making every fixture count. Arsenal leads the table with 16 points, followed by Liverpool on 15, Tottenham and Bournemouth on 14, while City trail with 13 and Chelsea on 11. As the Premier League resumes, fans can expect drama, intensity and title-defining moments, with every match now a must-win in England's most unpredictable season yet. It was a night of history and heartbreak for Everton women as they played their first Women's Super League game at the new Bramley Moore Dock Stadium. But Manchester United had the final say, winning 4-1. United dominated possession from the start, creating multiple early chances before Everton's opener came against the run of play. The toughest celebrations were short-lived. Marlat's equalizer restored parity in the 62nd minute, and United never looked back. Kitagawa's unlucky deflection gave United the lead, and substitute Jess Park added 2 well-taken goals to complete the rout. Despite the result, it was a historic and emotional night for Everton fans. Flags, chants, and the traditional Z-Cars theme marked their debut WSL outing at Bramley Moore Dock. But in the end, United's clash told, cutting the gap to league leaders Chelsea to just 2 points. A record crowd of 18,154 watched as Honoka Hayashi gave Everton a dream start, pouncing on a rebound to score their first ever WSL goal at the new venue. But United hit back through Melvin Marlat before Hikaru Kitagawa's own goal and a late brace from Jess Park sealed a dominant comeback from Mark Skinner's side. For Everton, the wait for a first home win goes on, but their slice of WSL history at Bramley Moore Dock will live long to the memory, even if the results didn't go their way. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do all to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and headline updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Well, it's now time we trend along and also see some major stories that seem to take center stage on social media. And well, anyway, I'll be standing in for You Do Know Her. She's away cooking another lovely trendy one that you guys really love to enjoy, especially as she tries to prepare something special for the midweek. Hence, I'll be sitting in for her today. But you do know, trending, we're never alone. We always have someone to also join in. And well, anyway, my very own colleague, I'm talking about no other person but Nkechi Tejiri, is also a part of it. Nkechi, welcome to
I missed my dance today. Oh my goodness.
Well, anyway,
so good to be here.
It's not going to be a female affair, all female affair.
Come on now.
As it used to. There's always a man in it.
You're
yes,
happy now.
There should be a man in it.
Thank you. Take your flowers.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, that's what we're doing, and we'll really love to trend some lovely stories that is making around on social media. And the one I want us to start with is the one of, well, anyway, let's just go this way. I'd love to say it this way. Okay. Now, they lost their child a couple of years ago, and everybody was really out feeling the impact of that very loss. And I'm talking of no other person but their son, Ifeanyi. And since then, everybody's prayer has been for them to also have one, which they finally did. But it looks as if one has not been enough. God has blessed them with two. And I'm talking of no other person but Chioma and Davido. Congratulations to both couples. They now have twins to show for all their cries and tears. And not only that, to show for how much their marriage is being blessed and loved.
Yes.
Chioma, Davido, congratulations. We are happy for them.
Congratulations to 001 and 002, one of my faves.
Okay.
And I'm so happy for them. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think over the weekend or so.
That the news broke.
They celebrated the 2 years birthday of the twins, and you know, we're so happy for them. That's finally, you know, God has blessed them, giving them double for their trouble. You know, so it's a beautiful thing to see that. Yes.
And this is why Nigerians are celebrating, having these children now being 2 years.
Yeah.
And no major incident.
No incident.
Nigerians are really happy about that.
Yes.
And we really want to congratulate them.
Yes.
But the question is, when they had these twins initially, I was trying to look at who looks like that their mommy.
They didn't show their faces.
And funny enough, up to now, I've seen a glimpse of their face. I still don't know who these children resemble. It's more like mommy than daddy.
If you look well, you see, one thing I love about, you see, God is so wonderful. If you look at one of them, I don't know whether it's the boy or the girl now, but one of them still has a semblance
to
of
Ifeanyi.
Yes, you know, and it's a beautiful thing that somehow, some way, the boy still lives on in them, you know, and see, whether you resemble daddy or you resemble mommy, it does not matter. To me, it does not matter. As long as you're seeing the face and you're sure that this is who they are, you know, that's okay for me.
Well, anyway, we are right here at Atlantic TV celebrating with those couples that God has blessed. with twins 2 years
We are
back.
talking about the president of the 30 BG gang.
Wow.
When you're saying
Yes.
those couple like as if it's just one
Oh,
foreign.
look at those fine.
Look at what I'm
beautiful-
saying
wow,
now. Look
wow.
at what I'm saying. It's
That's
a
why
Disney
I'm
world.
I'm trying to really
It's a
look
Disney
at
world here.
Who they really look like.
Well, I think they look more like Chioma.
Okay.
They look more like Chioma,
Than
you
Davido.
know, than Davido. Of which, you know, Ifeanyi, God rest his soul, you know, he still resembled Chioma. So, you know, sometimes it's like that. The children must always carry their mom's face. Not like now, if your child is not carrying your wife's face,
Who you want carry?
there will be problem. You
Yes, so
understand?
there will be questions. So serious questions.
So you see what I'm talking about. So that's why it's okay like that.
Okay. We just really want to really congratulate the twins.
Yes.
The bash.
It was a huge one.
Something.
It was a huge one. Right
style.
there
Wow.
in the US. It
Yes.
was a huge one.
A huge
and we are
one.
really, really happy for them. And we are hoping and praying that this joy continues and the
Amen.
celebration continues without any hitches whatsoever.
Well, anyway, nobody will be hearing any bad news anytime
Yeah,
soon.
so,
And
I
we're really
mean-
happy for both of them. But anyway, sad news is where we are going next. And this happened in Warri, where during the weekend, a soldier or an army officer stabbed a man to death. And well, it was a really sad one. And the very army officer has been called out by our very own Israel Joe. Let's see if the PD has that video, then we'll come back and talk around it so you really understand the angle we're coming on account of this very sad story. Quite
holding anything. And he can't fight a military man. The military man was overpowering us. So along the line, the car was parked in the gate. It blocked the entrance of the estate. People were coming in. So it was like a commotion. My bro had to tell me to drive the car
to the side,
to one side of the road to clear
give people access
to give
to
people
pass.
access to pass.
That was around like 7 or 8
That's
p.m.
that's let me say it's to 7.
To 7.
It's not exactly
Okay.
7 o'clock. To
Okay.
7.
Yeah.
To 7. So I drove the car
To the
to the side of the road. So along the process, while come military man now entering the estate, the security now entering the estate, seeing that they have stabbed someone.
How many places did they stab him?
They stabbed him on the hand, and he stabbed him on the.
I saw the rib came out.
Yes, his
on the
rib
video.
came out. Yes, it was a very deep stab. He intentionally stabbed my bro because he told him he was going to kill him because of talking to him that way. So, along the process, they were entering. I had to come and help my bro. We had to come and carry him with my cousin bro to rush him to the car. So on that line, we saw the military man's name.
Okay.
Maybe when
Sephia is the name of the soldier that stabbed him.
His name from the uniform.
The tag is
fell
already
out.
with the
tag
police right now.
Fell out.
Yeah.
It's already with the police as an evidence. It fell out. I believe maybe it was when he was fighting with my bro. Along the line, he stabbed him. Maybe his badge fell down. Then he had to carry my bro.
It's really
This
sad.
is so sad. and
When
disheartening.
when security agencies that are saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property are the one now turning
Treating
around and
disabled.
doing the opposite.
Exactly.
That very incident seemed to happen yesterday around 7 p.m. and we lost one Mr. Ego on account of that very unnecessary altercation between himself and the military officer.
I mean, for
Nkechi.
what would that, you know, why was he fighting him? You know, I really would have loved to know what was
Full
really the
details of
issue,
what really
full details
transpired.
of what really transpired, because I don't understand why a military man, an army man, will stab a civilian. For what reason? And you are on uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me. That also speaks to what we've been saying over time. You know, the fact that the kind of recruitment process is going on. What kind of people are we employing into the force? Because these are people that, like you said, are saddled with the responsibility of taking care of the lives of people. So why are you now being the one doing the direct opposite? It doesn't really make sense to me. I think there needs to be an overhauling at this time in the entire security outfits in the country. I think we need a total overhauling.
Well, anyway, my happiness is that, well, that very matter has been reported to the Nigerian police and his tag is with them already. And I'll just really employ the Nigerian military to
do the needful. Let's see the end of this.
Let them really arrest this guy and more investigations should commence in unearthing what really transpired that led to the loss of life of one Mr. Igo. our hearts is with the families, but I will also implore you, as civilians, please do not have such heated alteration. Yes, with military personnel. Once our former...
Little things can get them really triggered.
Our former president, first president of the Republic of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe, said, it's only a madman that would quarrel with somebody that has a gun. It's only a madman.
True.
Now, when you see people with arms, don't argue, don't quarrel, just stay on your ground.
Stay on your ground. Do as you're told.
Just try to stay alive. Then you will seek for justice. But somebody has an arm and you are really fighting him or her. It's not the best way to go.
It's really not the best way to go. And I think I've said this before one time on Trending. You know, sometimes people do this just for chasing clout because you already know what's going on. People are angry with the police, so people would want to milk that situation and find every opportunity to make noise about it. So you see people are having this argument with the police and they want to bring out their phone and they're taking videos and taking pictures. Yes, he slapped me, he pinched me, oh, he blew my head, But then what did you do? What led to that? So if you trigger them, you do things like this are bound to happen. So I believe we should just maintain our grounds, know the law for yourself. That's why I used to encourage people, know the law for yourself, because if you know the law for yourself, you will not be involved in all this kind of altercations here and there, because you know your rights. As an individual, as a citizen, you know your rights, and if you know your rights, no policeman can toss you around. And that's just the truth. So let's just be careful and let's be civil in our dealings with the police.
Yes, well, she said it all, and the truth is, we're not putting the blame on the late Mr. Igo, but we're just pleading with you. Then when you have such persons, just pedal softly, so at least you save your life. Your life is always so important. And after that, investigations, and indeed, issues will be mentored. That we see many police officers that ended up slapping persons, and they did not retaliate, but at the end, they drove them out of the police force. So please, just try and stay alive. Don't form hard man, hard woman. Please, don't fight with them, especially when they are armed. But after that, see how you can also get or redress some of their actions, and it will be better if you stay alive to do so, rather than being a grave, and you'll be the only one telling the tale, and you're not a part of it. Please, we implore Nigerians to stay alive. But anyway, we're still live right here in the studio, and it's still trending. One I know that will cause a heated argument now, especially between me and...
this one, tough.
Is that coming from no other person but a businesswoman. And we're talking of no other person but Mrs. Ofure. Now, she came out to say that women that cannot contribute their own quota financially to their husbands are indeed, I will not rephrase her, let me just say it the way she said it, so they will not look as if I'm the one rephrasing what she said and everybody will come for me. Now, she said, any woman who does not contribute financially to her husband is useless. This is according to a businesswoman. I'm talking about Grace Ofure. Well, if we have, I will seem to have that very video. Let's call for it. You listen to her so you don't say it's me that said it. Let's get to hear from her.
There was a lady that was living with me. We were living in the same yard. So one day I just went to her house. I said, this soup you never finish. Say he's waiting for the husband to bring Maggie. If you see, I was so irritated.
Nothing buy Maggie.
So you are waiting for the man whenever I will come from work for inside traffic to bring Maggie. They wait for your husband. Me, I said no. Oga, we go do this thing together.
Anyway, that soup will wait till the next day if it's me. We'll eat the soup next day. No need of waiting for me. I will buy Maggie the next day. I will not even give you money to go and buy. Don't worry, you're waiting for Maggie, Abi.
Oh my goodness.
The soup will come. We'll eat it the next day.
The situation is so hilarious to me because, I mean, that is a different context. I mean, Maggie, she was waiting for her husband to get Maggie on traffic. Oh, come on, that's really
anyway, they said things on traffic, so
but then, coming from that angle of a woman who does not support her husband, blah, 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 is a useless woman.
You will never say it completely.
Be calming down. Because see, these two fingers, they are not equal. Man and woman like this, they are not equal. There are some men that work and they would prefer their wives not to work. So when the wife is not working, how does she want to contribute financially? It is a man's responsibilities to provide,
and that.
to protect. No, hold on. to provide, to protect, and to what again? Preserve the family, right?
And to encourage. And to cater for, and to kneel down, and to say I'm sorry.
It is his duty. Come on now.
I'm just
Let's not shift. Okay, so now should we now say that the man should come back home and come and babysit the baby at home?
No, not that.
So
but what we are saying is that the man should come back home, bring money for Maggie, later help to turn Gary, then later dish the food.
Hold on. Marriage is partnership. Okay,
yes. That's what I'm saying.
Your back, I scratch.
She cook. She put salt. She put Maggie. She make eba. You turn it.
No. The man has to take responsibility because that is his duty.
Yeah.
That is how God designed. It's not our fault. Now, so God designed her. Okay. It's not our fault. So if a man is saying a woman must contribute for, what if she doesn't have the money to contribute?
Now,
so that's why I fault men that say marriage is 60-40 or marriage is 50-50. You bring 50%, I bring 50%. For what, Kwanu? For what?
Now let me say this. Yes, we agree that it's stated in the Bible that a man that cannot provide for his family
worse than an infidel.
But it is also common sense that
common
in a
sense
Nigeria
is not really
setting now, that gas is about 1,500 naira per kg. Rice has increased from 8,000 we used to buy it some 15 years ago. It's now 100,000. Beans, we thank God, we cannot buy akara. But all of the things have now increased. A man will take care of food, a man will take care of school fees, a man will take care of transportation, house rent, pay the bills, and a woman will be waiting for him to bring money for Maggie.
Okay, fine. In that context, I would say that was unbelievable.
No. What I indirectly mean is in the new Nigerian context, it's only a woman that wants to be a widow on time would want the husband to do all, and she does nothing on the ground that it's a man's responsibility. If you have a son that is a man, would you want the wife to bill him to death? That's
well, I wouldn't want to categorically say that, a woman should just sit back and just allow
but some women do.
Everything. Yeah, some women do.
Yeah.
And I've also seen some women that is what their husband wants.
Okay.
There's a difference
between what the husband wants and what the woman does.
Fine. And I've seen men complain, say my wife just stay, she know they work, she know they bring money. But
because women will always say your money is our money.
Is our money. So and my money is my money.
That's
so however I choose to spend my money.
When you come to Nigeria, that's the only thing you hear. Abroad, the women don't say their money is their money.
You think so?
I know so.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It's even worse.
Okay.
It's even worse because if we see a man, a white man or a black man will tell you, I can't let my woman spend her money for me.
Okay, now what I want to tell Nigerians is, if you think I'm lying,
it's
go and check it. The life expectancy for men in Nigeria now is 54.9 years. It's the lowest in the world. The life expectancy for women is 64 years. So do the math. Now you know why men die on time. But anyway, we are not dying the issue.
But please, let me still encourage my gender. See, let us still encourage our men because sometimes it's not easy. So if you that is working, you have money, please, the little things you can take care of, please just go ahead and take care of it. You don't have to wait for the man to come back from work and come and give you money to buy Maggie. Mbano, it's not good. So please, the little things you can help him handle. After all, we are called the helpmeet. So the little
not
things
the breakneck mate.
The little things you can help him handle, if it's in your capacity, please go ahead and do it, and don't give the man unnecessary stress. But the main things that he's supposed to handle, leave it for him to handle.
Yeah, so let him handle it and die. But anyway, on that note,
he will not die.
Anyway, time is never a friend, especially
so
when we're
this
having
topic, if we go on with this, oh my goodness.
It will continue and you hear reactions. We'll sleep here. And at the end, we'll still take responsibility. So no need for doing that.
No need to drag.
But anyway, we've come to the end of trending on this lovely edition of Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. We always implore you to remember to go to our different social media platforms. Let's have your reaction as it concerns some of the majors, especially the news, trending, dialogue, and the paper review. All of that we'll definitely really enjoy. And tell us what you really would love us to also do. We're more than happy to oblige you. But for me, Michael Gobadia, God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.